welcome. Welcome to Bay Focus. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Always appreciate it when you do. And I know that you look forward to every week, like I do, finding out what's going on in Central Florida and the Tampa Bay area, that you can roll up your sleeves and become involved in. That is what Bay Focus does. We really try to engage our viewers in things that are happening here in the community. And we have, this is no different this week. We have a couple different organizations and ministries that are really going to touch your heart today. And in just a little while, we're going to take you to the nation of Haiti and Cuba and an organization called Living in Faith, a missions organization that has a tremendous story to tell and what they are providing for the people of these nations. It's always interesting to kind of get a behind-the-scenes look, particularly into Cuba. So much interest in what's going on there, but Haiti as well. So you want to stay tuned for that. But we're going to start today a little bit closer to home. If you've watched Bay Focus for any length of time, you know what a heart I have for anything to do with children, children's homes, foster care. Well, we are going to talk about that today, and kind of a new initiative, a different approach to the foster care issue that we have and that we really, as a body of Christ, need to engage in. And we're so honored today to have with us the founders of this group called Every Church, One Family organization. Every Church, One Family, and we're going to talk to what that means. And we have with us Pastor Ron Cooney, yes, who is the campus pastor for Clearwater Church, the Clearwater campus of Clearwater Church. And Pastor Ron works under, and those of you again have watched the show know Dr. William Rice has been on the show several times, and he works under him as one of the many campuses of the incredible church. And then also Jeff Ford came along with him, who is the CEO of Man Up Tampa Bay. Thank you both so much for coming on the program today. And
thank you.
I love that. You know, our viewers are going, what? Man Up? What does that mean? Man Up Tampa Bay? Well, they're going to find out. But Pastor Ron, let me start with you. Tell us what this Every Church, One Family means. What does that mean?
Well, it's kind of in the way that it's stated. It's something that we would like to see every church getting involved in the foster care system in our county. And it was just recently we saw a news story that was done on Eckerd. There were some issues that the way the kids in our care were being provided for and how they were being cared for, and I sent the article to Jeff and a couple other people, and we just began to be outraged by what we saw. But at the end of the day, breaking a news story didn't change the fact that these kids still didn't have homes to go to. They still didn't have beds that they could lay in and have families that could care for them. And I was also moved by a video that I saw where the case management and Eckerd Connects were the ones that were responsible for placing these children, making sure that they had a home that they could go to. And I after seeing what their war room looked like, I thought, every night the body of Christ just goes to sleep, and we don't really think about the orphan care crisis in the Tri-County area, Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough County. And so we thought maybe we could start an initiative called Every Church, One Family, where every church would identify one family who would step in and say, you know what, we'll step up and we'll be the ones that will lead the effort and the initiative here at our church. And if we could identify one family in the almost 600 churches in the Tampa Bay area, we could flood the system with foster families. And so we appreciate you allowing us to come on your show just to talk more about that.
Well, you know, and I want to say here too, and you brought up a good point, both, and I want to our viewers, both of these gentlemen sit on the advisory council of Eckerd Connect, so you've been very much involved in the foster care. And I want to talk to you in just a moment, Jeff, too. I want to say this while we have a chance. Both of them are also adoptive parents, have been through the foster care system for Pastor Ron. And then Jeff, from two different countries, China, Ethiopia, correct?
Correct.
I wanted to throw this up here. We're just going to take this moment for a little bit of retail. This is Pastor Ron Cooney's wife has written, and that's your daughter who has illustrated.
10-year-old daughter,
Yeah, has illustrated 30 balloons, an adoptive tale from their own experiences. So they're coming firsthand on this, on being involved in this whole crisis. And Jeff, tell our viewers what Man Up Tampa Bay is, because you work with this organization that really has been involved in trying to get fathers involved as well.
Correct. So around the world, when you see a single parent home, 80% of the time it's parented by the woman. the men are usually not engaged. So our organization is really focused on getting men engaged in the fight for the fatherless around the globe. And so we've been doing that since 2011. Well, in the last couple of years, we realized the initiative needs to take full focus here at home as well. And so that's what we have done. We believe children benefit in every measurable way by the presence of a loving, committed father in the home. All the statistics bear that out. We know that intuitively too, and of course God's word tells us that. And so we're calling on men to get engaged. And so in the Tampa Bay area, we have nearly 5,000 kids who have been removed from their homes in the last 12 months due to abuse, abandonment, or neglect. And we don't think that's okay.
Yeah.
And so we are calling men to step up, to man up and say, all right, we're going to lead in this charge. We're going to take James 1:27 seriously, and we're going to care for the orphan that's in our midst. So we hear orphan, we think of somebody, 7,000 miles away and et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't really have that personal thing. But for us, I mean, we have so many kids right here in our area that need homes, and what we really need is foster homes. We need parents who are willing to do that. So
that dovetails what you do with Man Up Tampa Bay and even nationally what they do, dovetails right into what you all are trying to do. Okay, give me some concrete examples. If somebody's watching and they're hearing this, okay, you actually have done some, and recently gone in and tried to explain how 3 different locations with churches and how people can tangibly get involved. What would be steps?
Recently we had 3 Q&As that we had at a church in Pinellas County, Pasco County, and Hillsborough County. And we had people attend there who were interested in getting involved. And so there are multiple ways that you can be involved. Obviously the number one way that what the whole initiative is about is to become a foster parent. Now there's a process that has to take place in order for you to become a foster parent, and it takes generally about 4 to 6 months. But what we found is it's kind of hard to figure out okay, what are all the nuances and who are the people that are involved in that. And so what we're trying to do is make it simple for the average believer who's going to a church going, okay, I want to be involved, but I really don't know how. Well, that's what this is about. So become a foster parent. You can become a guardian ad litem. They have what they call wraparound services. Where there's a great ministry that goes into churches and trains the churches on how to come around the foster family and minister to them by providing meals, or you might buy a pack and play, provide a pack and play for a family. When our 4th soon-to-be adopted daughter came into our family, we had 12 hours notice that she was being released from the hospital and she was being brought to our home. And so we had to scramble to get a pack and play, a car seat, diapers, I mean, everything you could imagine. And 6 years ago, when we started the foster care journey, when we picked up our foster son, he had a breathing machine, he had Tootsie Rolls and a couple of breathing treatments, and that's all that we were given. And he also had pink eye. So that was a great start to our foster journey. But when he went back to his dad and he was reunified, which is the goal is to be reunified to your parents. I had to take 2 trips. We had clothes, we had toys. I mean, there's so many things that we were able to send him home with and provide that stability of care, which is what the foster system is really designed to do.
Okay, so in our we have a few remaining moments here. You're really trying to, at this point, target the faith community, the Christian community, to come alongside. And why is this so important? And I'm going to throw this to you, Jeff, a little bit too. Is if you were speaking, there were pastors watching and everything. You're trying to get them to catch the vision for this, and you've worked with the Man Up organization. How do you see the churches really partnering with this?
Well, we believe that this is a church problem. We believe this is a faith problem. Right now we have Eckerd Connects, and we love what they're doing. It's a hard job what they're doing, but they're essentially the ones the government has charged to take care of the orphan crisis in our area. And it's our opinion that it's the church's responsibility to take care of this problem. And it's not that we don't want Eckerd to do what they do, we do, but we believe the church is the ultimate answer. We believe the gospel is the ultimate answer.
Well, it's a for lack of a better word, this is probably a little bit cliche, a mission field. I mean, you have to, obviously you have to be careful some with kids and whatever when you get kids in the system in terms of sharing your faith, but when they see it walked out in the home that they're in, opportunity to go to church or youth group or, wow,
There's a great
this is
word.
a soul.
Yeah, there's a great word that in terms of the system of care that they want to provide a normal environment. It's called normalcy, and so that means as you're going about your day and doing the things that you would just normally do as a foster parent, you're taking that child with you to make them feel like they are part of what your family is doing and to create a normal environment for them. Right. And so part of that is your faith, and so we take our kids to church and we try to instill in them the same values that we are instilling in our kids. But as Jeff said, this certainly it's a body of Christ issue, and we are the ones that need to assume the responsibility.
Okay, and just our last couple minutes here, if you crystallize it, what can our we're going to put on the screen, and we're going to run this through the Man Up website and information from the screen. What are the things right now, the greatest needs, moving this forward? What can our viewers do?
Well, I would say that the biggest thing they can do is contact us. If they want to be involved, contact us. We have relationships with various and many agencies. We understand how the system works, how all the pieces fit together. It can be very confusing. So we would ask that they would contact us with our email or phone number, which I think you guys have.
Yep.
And then we'll be the ones to put them in contact with the appropriate agency, depending on where they're at, because every church geographically could be in a different location, a different stage, and just in their maturity in terms of where they're at with foster care and answering the James 127 mandate as well.
Well, that's a great way to end it. I want to thank you both. I applaud what you both are doing. You're both living and walking this, your own lives, involved in the foster care, being adoptive parents. Applaud Calvary Church for being involved in this, and the different churches that have hosted and you've partnered with in doing this. And I hope you, as our viewers, will get involved with this. Like I've told you, I love highlighting things with children, young people. A real heart for me too is in this foster system when these kids age out, that there's a plan for them, that there are people in the body of Christ to come under them. So here's how you can contact and be more involved in this initiative for foster care. Hello, I'm Darlene Greenlee, and I want you to make room in your schedule each week to tune into Bay Focus. We are going to highlight local events, ministries, concerts. Reporter Brooke Larson goes behind the scenes at some of those concerts and talks to the music artists, local pastors, ministry leaders. Tune in each week. I'll see you on the next Bay Focus. Well, we're going to change directions a little bit. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to find out more about a missions organization that's going into Haiti and into Cuba, and it's called Living in Faith. And before we talk to the founder of this organization, I want you to get a little bit of a glimpse of what they do in those two nations. So let's take a look at Living in Faith.
The Bible tells us to love our neighbors. For Living in Faith, that has been Cuba and Haiti. Since 1995, Living in Faith has been ministering in Cuba, and we began working in Haiti in the year 2000. The ministry of Living in Faith is threefold. First is that of providing eye care, second in providing clean water as an evangelistic tool, and third is that of enriching family values through the Ancient Path seminars, plus ministering through the Jesus video. In Cuba, we began providing new eyeglasses for persons in the church because in many cases in Cuba, glasses were not affordable for many people. The Cubans have access to eye doctors and can be measured for glasses. We receive the prescriptions in Tampa and make new glasses for the patient. The glasses give a new life for many. Throughout Cuba, drinking water is often contaminated with bacteria, which causes gastrointestinal diseases. This results in vomiting and diarrhea in young children and older adults. Living in Faith developed a water purification system which filters out these disease-causing bacteria. The system is compact enough to carry into Cuba in a suitcase. These systems are installed in churches and church camps throughout Cuba. The church then uses this as an evangelistic tool to reach out to their neighbors. At each location, we deliver a case of Bibles to the church. These are so welcomed as the churches are growing, and these Bibles are a great blessing to these new believers. These water systems have been taken to Haiti, where they are installed in churches. Similar testimonies are heard from Haitians. This is especially true after the earthquake in 2010 and the subsequent outbreak of cholera. Our water systems save lives and bring about better physical health and brings about an opportunity for better spiritual health. This is why we often refer to this as the Woman at the Well project. Our eye care in Haiti is a little different than in Cuba. In Haiti, there are very few doctors who do the exams necessary to determine eyeglass prescription. Living in Faith has established 3 eye clinics to give basic exams. Our principal clinic is equipped to refract for glasses and give complete eye exams. In this clinic, we evaluate and treat eye diseases. In addition, we are able to conduct surgery by bringing eye surgeons from the United States to do cataract surgery on both children and adults. The doctors find great value in giving the little children a new life by giving them new sight. Our clinic is recognized as one of the best eye clinics in Haiti. Not only do we have air-conditioned facilities, but we are blessed to have modern equipment for exams and surgery. Our staff is trained to give the patients a very good experience. So often, patients tell us how they feel the presence of the Lord at our clinic. After surgery, both patients and family members give thanks to God for their new vision. The Living in Faith evangelistic program includes the ministry of Word and Vision, in which our staff shows the Jesus video in villages and connect to those who receive salvation with the local churches. Funding for our work comes through individuals, churches, and companies who understand the commandment to love our neighbors.
Well, that gives you a little bit of an overview of what Living in Faith does with us. And to go a little more detail on the vision behind this ministry, we have the founder with us of Living in Faith, Russ Montgomery. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Russ, wow, when I look at everything you're doing, and we just saw in the video, it is amazing to see how God has provided and given you these opportunities in the 2 nations of Haiti and Cuba. But tell us how this started, because your story, and why did you start Living in Faith, and how it happened with you personally?
Well, for many years, I thought of the people in Cuba, and in 1995, researched a way to go there legally. Went, saw what the churches were doing, which you never read about in the U.S. papers, and realized that there was some basic needs that could be met. I was given some eyeglass prescriptions, saying, "Can you get some glasses made?" Paid retail price, and I asked the Lord, if this is what you want me to do, make it possible. And He made it possible.
Wow.
We made glasses in Cuba, and the wife of the president of Haiti heard of our work and asked me to come to Haiti. And so that's how we got into Haiti.
But for you too, it was a missions, you went on a missions trip.
Yes.
I think that's what hits me is I've seen this a number of times, different people on the show. Another organization we've had on several times, New Frontiers Health Force, for example. They started out with just doing one medical missions trip, and now they're in Africa for several years doing all this. God gave you a vision. You went for one trip, and you literally let your career go.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You walked away.
Yes. I trusted the Lord.
That is amazing to me. I love to hear stories like that. Okay, I think most of us know that Haiti struggles. There's just been so many issues economically with them, and leadership change, regime change, various things that the people struggle. But I think it's surprising to me a little bit that Cuba has the needs for the water purification systems along that line. Tell us a little bit about what the conditions are like inside Cuba.
In Cuba, it's been a fantastic place to travel, wonderful people, a safe place to go, but there are some basic needs, such as clean water. And we found by putting water purification systems in churches, it attracts people into churches that might not have been there.
Yeah.
And the churches tend to double in size within a couple of years because of reaching out to their neighbors.
Yeah, wow, that's good. So you work through the churches there, and how do you make, is it just from going all the years that you've been there, how do you make the connections to what with the churches yourself? I mean, is it like word of mouth or?
It's really word of mouth.
Yeah.
We'll have pastors waiting in one church where we're going to install a system, waiting to plead their case why they need a system as well. And so it is word of mouth, yes.
Yeah. Okay, now the eyeglasses, when you're, these are the areas that you specialize in. The eyeglasses themselves, is that strictly Haiti that you're doing
No,
that
it's
in?
Cuba and Haiti.
It's both,
Yes,
okay.
we make glasses for prescriptions that we receive from Cuba and carry them back into Cuba. And in Haiti, we actually give the exams, and we do surgery as well.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, now you have people that come from the States and help you. So how often do you do that? Do you take teams various times of the year? Or how
Yes,
often?
this year we'll be doing surgery 9 times this year. Next year we have it scheduled for 10 times. We bring in doctors from around the country, and also they'll bring either their assistants or just anybody, even without a medical background, can go and be an assistant.
Okay, so if you don't have a medical background, you went along, what would be some of the things that you would be doing to help?
It might be carrying supplies into the operating room, being able to go and usher the patients from the exam rooms to the surgery rooms to the recovery rooms, being able to pray for the patients, just being able to experience the life-changing operation.
Well, that's the side of it I wanted to ask you about. Obviously, you're going out and you're doing the humanitarian needs and things that are needed. But what are the ministry element of what you do? What opportunities are there?
Well, with the eyeglasses, we're able to go and literally heal the blind. This is what Jesus did. And it just opens up the eyes, and people feel and experience the Christ present in our clinics. With the water, it attracts people into the church, and people literally being healed of kidney diseases and prevention of cholera, for example. And so it's a life-giving water. It's a chance to witness to them.
I like that. I like that, the whole life-giving water. Now, how do you do this? Do you have staff, volunteers? How do you keep this all these years? It's a long time.
Well, we do have staff here. We also have some staff in Haiti and also in Cuba. Haiti, we have about 12 people working in our eye clinic full-time.
Wow.
So the clinic's full-time even when I'm not there.
Wow. I didn't realize you had that many on staff there. Do you have volunteers as well, other than staff that come and just,
Yes.
obviously the teams that go.
Right, we
But
have
on a
volunteers
regular
that will
basis.
go. In fact, in a short time, we'll be taking some students from the University of South Florida down to Haiti. A couple years ago, we took the Honors College from the University of South Florida down to Cuba. And so reaching to the younger people is fantastic because it opens up the door to missions as a ministry opportunity.
Yeah. Now, do you see other needs? Now, obviously, you're focused on the water treatment and the water systems, but also the eyeglasses. But overall economic needs, are there other things that come up that you see? Like, there's probably some people that need food or various things. Do you partner with other groups to help with that as well?
We've networked with Love a Child, which is a fantastic group
they're
there
great
in
down there in
Haiti.
Haiti.
They're tremendous. There's tremendous needs. We've learned that we have to go and focus on a few just to do it extremely well. And we don't want to do it good. We want to do it excellent.
Yeah. I noticed on the video and the pictures that you shared that since the earthquake in Haiti, did you see a real? It's probably never fully recovered.
It's
still the need is great.
There's ongoing needs, and we're trying to touch the lives of individuals. And those that we give surgery to are able to live useful, productive lives.
Yeah, that's incredible. Okay, how can in our remaining moments here, can you give us some specific things that our viewers can do to help you? Like, what would be some of your greatest needs right now?
Well, talk to your eye surgeons. We need some eye surgeons that will work on children, ages 5 and younger. If you're an anesthesiologist or CRNA, we could use you to help put the children to sleep when we do surgery on them. We need people to help carry our water systems into Cuba. You'll get a chance to see and visit Cuba, as well as help distribute the water systems. And so just a willingness to be available is what's
and
the
now
greatest need.
I'm assuming you would take financial contributions as well.
Yes, our water systems are $1,000, and they can reach out and touch about 1,000 people at each location. And funding for the cataract surgeries for the children is about $100 per child, so you could give new sight to a child.
So how do you, how do you get all the funding for this? Do you go get on missions budgets or on people's and churches, or how do you do this?
Various churches fund us, corporations, and a lot of individuals. They hear our story and say, "What could I do to help?" And a little bit can be multiplied through the work of the Lord.
Yeah. So every dollar counts, so to speak. I know from one of the people that actually referred you to me was Al Barrett of Threads of Hope.
Yes.
And he goes, they start sewing clinics and all this. I know you guys have partnered some, so you're partnering with other ministries as well on that. And I think he was talking about potentially bringing either the sewing clinics to you, or you going to Kenya as well, right? Some joint
doing both, yes.
Joint projects.
Yeah, networking.
Yeah.
Great ministry that he has, and we can network together.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much for sharing about this, and just want to encourage you. This is called Living in Faith, and you are going to see on screen in just a moment how you can contact them. I'm always amazed when I see organizations like this. One man's vision. Now he's got multiple clinics, all these things going in 2 different nations, and then beyond, partnering with other ministries, going into Africa. And it's just being obedient, that one person's voice, being obedient, seeing the need, and God opening the door year after year for this to happen. So stay tuned on the screen. You're going to see how you can contact Living in Faith, and we will be right back. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's program. Just talked about Living in Faith and the missions organization and everything they're doing in Cuba and Haiti. I love talking about missions that are birthed here in the Central Florida area but go way beyond this area. But then also I really want to encourage you to get involved in the organization we showed you earlier called Every Church, One Family, foster care, trying to mobilize the church, mobilize Christians to catch a vision, to be foster parents, and to just these children that need a solid home. What better home than having a Christian home to come home to every night? And I want to thank you for tuning in each week. Contact us on social media. We want to hear from you. Have a great week, and we will see you next week. May God richly bless you.